Hey, what's up, good people? Welcome to another episode of Pwned. This episode is all about the knockout Deceptor by Star, and I need to give a shout out to Enoch because Enoch was the one that sent me this kit. Well, kind of like a kit, it's more like a barrel, and you guys will understand as you watch the video. But thank you, Enoch, because without Enoch, I wouldn't have this to showcase to you guys. Next, I want to address a comment that was left by James on my previous video, and that is psych with glasses. And the reason why I'm suddenly wearing glasses is because I actually don't need prescription glasses. My eyesight is perfectly fine. I don't want to say that I have 20/20 vision, but yeah, you know. But these are actually blue light cut lenses because I'm staring at screens all day, every day. When I get to work, I stare at the monitor, I stare at the screen. When I come back home, I edit videos on my laptop. When I'm on the move, I'm looking at my mobile phone. In the trains, I'm editing on the fly. So it's like screen all the way. And I realized that my eyes were starting to get really tired. And then it was my girlfriend, Emma, that told me about these blue light cutting lenses, and I gave it a shot. And I gotta tell you guys that ever since I started wearing these, it really made things a lot better. I feel a lot more fresh. It doesn't make me feel so tired all the time. And in fact, I've even heard about people having like headaches when they stare too much at the screen. So this might actually help. And number two, it helps to cover or mask my eye bags. Yes, I'm really tired. It's like 2 a.m. in the morning. I still am working. I am working from home some days, not every day, but I'm still working. It did, however, give me some time over the weekend to mod this thing. And so yeah, I'm here to talk to you guys about it. Now, I'm sure you guys are thinking, what, another rival knockout mod? Well, yes and no. And you guys know how I like to kind of put a little twist onto everything that I do. So this basically is the Deceptor barrel that was made by Star. And Star is I don't just want to call him a hobbyist, I want to call him a machinist because he actually makes these barrels on his own. It honestly is a really simple installation when you want to just slide a barrel in, and yes, it provides a full seal. For those of you out there who don't have access to brass, or if you're worried about creating a brass breech for your knockout mods, then yeah, this is definitely one very viable alternative. But the main difference between my mod and most other mods out there is the fact that when I do this, it's wide enough for me to slot in a full-length dart. So that's my twist. And you guys know I really love blasters when they can accept both sizes, meaning full length and half length. And initially when I looked at all the other knockout mods, I was like, what? Everything is for half length darts, and I was kind of apprehensive. I was thinking, do I really want to make another mod that just fires half lengths? But Enoch sent this to me and I was like, okay, you know what? I'll do this mod for you. Got myself a rival knockout, opened it up, and then I realized, wait, there might just be a way for me to actually pull this off, and I did, and I'm quite glad. So yes, a tutorial section is coming up very soon for you guys, but before I jump into that, I want to just say that the main difference between modding it the usual way versus my way of extending this section to move a little bit further out actually isn't too much of a difference in terms of effort. It's just a little bit more cutting and a repositioning of the spring, the return spring. And yeah, I do have other pointers that I want to talk about in terms of the mod itself. So my main request from you guys right now is that you watch the next section where I go through the mod guide and the installation of the barrel, but watch that first, and then only with that knowledge I will address some extra pointers after. Yeah? So without further ado, check it out. You know, I really gotta say that mod videos like that actually take quite a lot of effort to edit. So yeah, I mean, I really hope that you guys like it. Also, if you're wondering what this thing here is, it's my mic. Like, I found a wind cutter, like wind cut sleeve thing. It's fuzzy and it's cool, and it's my little mic. And initially it was using just this sponge, right? And I've tested it out and I was like, what? Why did I not think of using this for the longest time? Now this actually improves audio quality by leaps and bounds. Like, it really improves the audio quality. It also acts as a kind of like a pop screen, so there's no like there's no clipping when I do that. Like when you say words with a strong punchy letter P, like powerful, push, you know, things like that. So this really helps. So I have it here. Yes, it makes the mic look a little bit larger overall, but it's really worth the audio quality. So pointers that I want to talk to you guys about. First of all, it's not easy to modify this thing. Like when you're taking out the cap from the plunger assembly to basically take out your plunger rod, that is not easy. There are some cases where I've seen people actually destroying all 4 clips, and for me, you guys saw I broke 1 clip. So I got lucky in that sense, I think. Just take your time and try your best. Now, if all 4 break off, there's no way for you to push that back. Try your best to find some way to tape it up or like epoxy it back in place or something, because it would really help a lot if the entire plunger assembly was one single piece when you're performing the reinstallation back into the shell. Next thing is, I realized that every time I wanted to close up the shell, everything would close nicely except for the grip area. There was always a small little gap in between at the seam, but I realized that a quick way to get around that is to just pinch and squeeze the 2 halves together while you lightly pull the priming bar, or that whatever this thing is called. Just pull it down a little bit, everything should just snap in place. The most annoying thing about this mod is that little orange piece at the bottom here. That piece always drops out, and make sure that you install it right, because that is the main piece for the trigger lock whenever the priming rod is pulled down and not yet returned to the original position. That's, in my opinion, a pretty good safety feature to keep in your blaster. The next thing is that for a lot of people, the air restrictor or the rival round centering piece would have to be completely destroyed. Like, you gotta find some way to destroy it or break it or yank it out and then slowly crack at it and pull it out. But what I did was I got my flathead screwdriver and I went around the circumference of it really slowly, but each time I slowly tried to dig further a little bit, and then eventually it just kind of popped out. There is, however, a possibility that the whole piece might just come out like that. So this was actually a second rival knockout that I was modding, and that one's for Enoch. I'll show it to you guys in a while, but the entire piece just slipped out. There is a little bit of glue residue on the top here, but that's really strange. I just literally got a pair of pliers, I pinched the front here or the nose, and then I wiggled it a little bit and just popped right out. And I think that's cool because the entire AR piece is here now, which means that if you don't ream the top part of the lip all the way through, you could actually use that guide and still install this back, and then you could basically undo this mod and then fit this back in and still fire off rival rounds, and then you could take this out whenever. So that's quite cool. This is something that I found really interesting that happened, and it might not happen with everyone, right? So just take note of that. I really like the fact that this lever releases this whole thing here, and then it's awesome. It's like a lock and load on crack, right? And I've also seen someone post online, and I apologize, I forgot who you are. I don't really remember because I just saw a picture and I glanced over it, but someone posted online a mod where he attached a wire that linked the bar here to the inside mechanism of this lever. So every time he primed the blaster, this would slide out automatically, and I thought that's quite cool. I think I'll try that when I have a little bit more free time. But anyway, I want to give you guys a quick firing demonstration of this because I like this barrel very, very much. So I do have a few different dart types. I have this, whatever this dart type is called, and I have some of the old style slugs, 2 foam types by the way, and I've got some full-length darts, and these are the AccuFakes. So, quick firing demonstration, and I apologize beforehand if you guys can't see the dart flying out of the barrel. It really isn't the point of this video, so I'm not even going to try to change my lighting setting just so I could capture that. The point is to show you guys that it does fire and it works, right? So here we go. First is the slug. So we just put the slug in, close this up, and we'll fire it. Next is the other type of slug, this one. And last but not least, let's fire off a couple of full-length darts. Now this is going to be a little bit tricky. Yes, it is wide enough, but the way I like to install or put the dart in, what am I saying? Chamber the dart. Yeah, so I like to do that by holding it with my pointer finger and inserting it upside down. That creates sort of like a ramp from the bottom to guide the dart in. And I found that to be the easiest method to chamber full-length darts with this mod, instead of just trying to like force the dart in from the top like that. And I'm going to try to show it to you guys, okay? So with your pointer finger, just a little bit above the tip of the dart, you want to use your pointer finger to kind of feel for the barrel, then insert it from the bottom so this touches the bottom of the barrel. So it's just a method that I kind of, I guess, stumbled upon when I was practicing how to load this thing. So once you get into that position, you can use your thumb to just push the dart in. Pretty straightforward. And yeah, I like I said, I just stumbled upon it. So here we go. Fires full-length darts with no issues whatsoever. Got another one. Let me just do that again. So with just a bit of practice, it's actually quite easy to chamber full-length darts as well. And on top of that, the seal for this thing is wonderful. Let me show you guys. Now, I'm doing this whole action so that you guys can see how even if I close this slowly, you'll see that click here. Right? So I'm not forcing the barrel in any further. And then probably just kind of pinch and hold the barrel like this, and then will this work? Wait, will this work? Okay, so maybe these two fingers instead. So that I just want to be fair to you guys that I'm not pushing this barrel further into the lip of the plunger tube. So, yep. It's really, really good. And honestly speaking, I think this barrel is really well made. There is, however, some things that you have to take note. And I believe that this is something that affects all kinds of barrels, not just this barrel in particular. But if you have, say for example, a silicone tip dart, and it just so happens that it's not a well-made tip, where there is some flash from that silicone that sticks out beyond the outer diameter of the foam body, then sometimes it might cause additional friction inside of the barrel, and then you might get a stuck dart. And because this barrel is made in such a way, the only way to get it out is to either use a ramrod or just prime and fire until the dart is finally released out of the barrel. And now I have a surprise for you guys, something interesting. This is not the only version of the Deceptor that Star made. Here you go, there's a second version with an even longer barrel. So this one here features a 16 centimeter barrel. I measured it with my ruler, so it's about like 15 plus almost 16, so I'm just gonna call it 16 centimeters. And this one here is 23 centimeters. Now I don't know why Star made these, but I will say that if you purchase this longer barrel, if it even is on sale, the return spring that comes with it is a stronger return spring. So it still does work. I just wanted to make sure that I highlighted this to you guys, because a longer barrel means heavier weight, and then it means you need a stronger spring load to pull the whole thing apart, right? I mean, that's simple physics. But this version here is for Enoch, and because I know Enoch isn't fussy like me, he doesn't need the ability to use full-length and half-length darts, I modded this to be the kind of standard half-length dart accepting version. So you could see that the travel isn't as far as compared to this, right? And so just to demonstrate that this longer barrel one works as well. Now the main difference is that you have to make sure you use the stronger spring that Star sells as well. And the second main difference is that I believe this was created for better accuracy. I don't know if you actually lose a lot in terms of FPS or range, because you guys know I don't have a crony. I probably will never get one because FPS really isn't something that is important to me. It works. I just want to show you guys. So got a half-length dart. Silicone tip one, by the way. Wow, great. Tip broke. And now for the seal demonstration. This thing also has a great seal. So to have both versions with great seal, I mean, Star, good job. So going through the whole motion all over again. I'm just gonna close this using the iron sight. Watch that click. There we go. Like that. And I could just hold it for a long time, but there we go. Perfect seal for these two versions. job well done to Star. And as always, if you guys are interested, I'll put links in the description box for where you can get these. I don't know if this one is available, but yeah, whatever, I'll just update the links accordingly. This was basically the showcase of the Deceptor barrel by Star, and of course to showcase that my mod actually works. Now I can fire off both full-length darts and half-length darts from a Nerf rival knockout. Now, another word of advice before I end this video: any one of you who uses a Nerf rival knockout and you've got like a custom made seal or something like that, but you still want to make sure that this thing works, especially if your barrel's heavy, I know it's not the best way to store your blaster, but I suggest keeping a blaster with this extended, and that's so that you don't overstretch the return spring, because once the return spring is stretched or overstretched, then you know you lose a lot of that tension. So I've been keeping my blaster like that, but I wrapped it up in a layer of plastic. Oh, you know what, I totally missed out. Like I mentioned earlier that this was almost like reversible depending on whether or not you have this restrictor piece as one solid whole piece like that. Well, for the barrels it's very easy because you guys saw it's all just O-rings and it's all friction fit, so all you gotta do is just twist and remove the barrel. Comes right out. And then with this open like that, you just take this and then with that groove there, just line this back up and then push the restrictor back in place, and now it looks like a normal rival knockout all over again. So we could fire rival rounds, and I'm sorry I don't have a rival round lying around somewhere. How many rounds did I say in that sentence? If you are performing the mod to have it open up wide enough to accept full-length darts, then maybe it's not a good idea to have it reversible, because then a rival round might drop too far into the blaster and might completely miss the breach altogether. So that's just some word of advice. But if you're doing it just for half-length darts, then that's fine, because the lip of the centering piece would be more than enough to prevent a rival round from dropping too far in. And then when you want to take it out, just grab a pair of pliers and yank it out. So just pinch it, wiggle it a little bit, comes right out. Easy peasy. So Enoch, once again, thank you so much for sending all these over to me. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you enjoy it as well. Just fine-tuning this. Yep, that works. Yep, that's it. See how simple that was, guys? Like, this installation is really easy once you do all the shell work, right? It's just a barrel that is friction fit, it works, it's very well done, and that basically is it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it interesting or at least entertaining, and I hope that you enjoyed my little twist on the rival knockout mod. And that's it. We've come to the end of this video. Thank you once again, everyone. Remember, drills pay the bills and teamwork makes the dream work. Please stay safe and stay healthy. We can all get through this together. Peace.